So Nupur, tell me a little bit about yourself, how you were feeling emotionally and physically before you started your transformation journey.
So to be honest, before we started in January of 2024, I think it was, I was actually feeling pretty awful. I feel like after I turned 40, and I had my daughter and I've had a couple of surgeries, like I just was not able to get my body feeling good. It wasn't even about being thin or being in shape. I had a lot of pain, physical pain in my body. My shoulders, my back, like there was just a lot of, pain. And I thought it was just a product of being a mom and being busy um, and then of course that ties in with the emotions. So if you don't feel good physically in the body, then you don't feel good mentally in the mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I just felt awful, actually, horrible, to be honest.
And, as you were going through your transformation journey and, learning about the physical, the emotional well-being of yourself, because I know the emotional well-being of yourself is something that you've always, taken care of yourself quite well, because I know that you go to nights out, by yourself in a hotel just to unwind and relax. And, what has been the biggest takeaway do you think your daughter has seen from you as a mom?
I mean, I feel like I think it's just been really amazing for her to see me get strong. I actually started doing my night outs after I started KMAP, just because I think when I started, I just realized my own self-value and self-worth, and that it was so important. And, that was a big part of it. I wanted her to see me feel strong and look strong. And again, not just physically, but also emotionally. It's important to take care of yourself, And I feel like joining KMAC, like the routine, and just like I never missed a workout, no matter what happened.
Yes.
Even with surgery, I took 2 weeks off and came right back into the gym with my knee brace. It was really important for me to maintain that structure, and I just needed someone to tell me what to do. And once I got that plan, then I was able to take it and roll with it. But my daughter, I think in the last year, has just seen strength. That's what she's seen and learned, that like women and girls can be strong.
Absolutely.
And that like it's important to take care of yourself. And I've learned that I can't give from an empty cup.
Yes.
So my workouts, even my nutrition, like she would pick food off my plate all the time, and now she doesn't do that, because it's like, this is mama's breakfast, this is mama's lunch, like we'll all eat together. But it's important for me to fuel my body so that I can then go to workout and then I can be the best version of myself.
No, 100%. And when we talk about nutrition, I know with you, you never really changed your meal plans too much, you know, and it was more about, I felt for you, the food fueled you in the right way.
Yeah.
What was your reason for not jumping from meals to meals to meals?
That's a good question. I mean, to be really honest, like, the rinse and repeat just worked really well for me. When I started, I bought the jars, I meal planned for the week, and I just knew that's how I'm going to go. And I remember the first 10 weeks, I did not deviate. And that's where I saw like the cut just kind of happening, the numbers coming down on the scale. I was just feeling better, looking leaner, feeling stronger, standing more upright. And I was like, this is working. And if it's working, why mess with it, right? I think that's an important thing I've learned, though, is that it's important to prep ahead of time. And it's okay to eat the same thing over and over and over again. That's actually what works. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, and of course, with your surgery last year, you've overcome so much physically and emotionally, because obviously when, you had the skiing incident, I'm sure it must have taken a massive toll on you in so many ways, physically and everything. So I guess with eating the same food, we're busy moms, and it's one less thing to think about.
100%.
Does your daughter try some of the foods that you eat as well?
We, as a family, ate all the same food.
Yeah.
My daughter's pretty easygoing with food. So collectively, my husband and I both lost like almost 60 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And my daughter has gained 4 pounds, which is what we wanted. She was always underweight. So all that protein and just thinking, she thinks protein forward now. She'll look at her plate and say, where's the protein? And she's only 6. So it's an amazing transformation in terms of nutrition.
Yeah, and also when, we talk about raising daughters, raising strong girls. Obviously today's International Women's Day.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in a family where, nutrition and health and physical movement was important or not so much?
Yeah, I mean, it was my mom. I remember as a child would do yoga, and she still goes to the gym. So moving the body and being physically active has always sort of been a part of my life. But I would say that I definitely learned a lot of key nutrition facets by doing this. Just thinking about macros. I'd heard about macros, and I knew my proteins and my carbs and my fats, but just understanding ratios and understanding that, those little bites, like the one bite of a cookie or one bite of a goldfish, like how that can add up over time.
Yeah.
And so just, kind of putting your head down, focusing, and like I said, rinse and repeat. Like I would say for anybody who's starting, that's the most important thing. Like that's what helped me get off the ground.
Yeah.
If you can just plan ahead of time, and then you can get creative later. You batch cook a bunch of chicken, and then you can make it into a salad, or you can make it into a bowl, or you can make it into a wrap. But like first get the basics down. And for me, those 10 weeks were clutch. Like getting just, the sweet potato, the chicken, just getting it all prepped and ready, and then rinse and repeat.
And absolutely, because, I know that you've traveled a fair amount, go away for weekends, very active family, hiking and so forth. So I guess with the movement, but you always came back to very similar meal plans. You just went back into the basics, all the time. So
Yeah.
What now? Are you going to start like trying to get a bit more creative with your different foods, or do you think you're just going to keep going with?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I feel like for the most part, the framework is set now. I think like it's very easy for me to now look at a plate and get a sense of what's what. Having done the program for 1 year, I was super meticulous for the first 10 weeks. That's when I fell and had my surgery, so things got a little wonky there. But even through that, like I meal prepped prior to the surgery,
Yes,
so I was ready to go. But I feel like what I've learned is I can now look at a plate. I can be on a cruise. I went on 2 cruises. I went on a bunch of girls' trips. Like I probably did 10 trips in the year, right?
Yep.
So I can look at a plate now, and it's not always going to be exact, but I can pretty much either maintain or, drop weight, even if I'm eating out here and there. So I guess to answer your question, like as far as home meals go, I just can't change. I mean, it's just become a lifestyle. It's just how we're going to live. And we're all eating the same way. But I'm not stopping. I still go out and I'm able to balance.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, just being able to be out and make good choices, and just think logically. I never really was one of those people who was like, I'm going to save calories for later. And that was something you actually told me very early on, when I went on my first trip.
Yeah.
You were like, look, you can like be smart about it, but don't like starve yourself and then go binge eat. And so once I knew that, I was like a couple of spoons of protein, get a couple of bit of Greek yogurt or some cottage cheese in my stomach, and then get out. And then I'm not starving. I'm not ravenous when I get to the restaurant, so I can manage.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was a win. Sometimes it was like, a little bloated, a little extra soy sauce, but it is what it is.
We're human. We're female. I'm excited for your daughter to see your pictures. You got to let me know how that go when she sees them. What the reaction will be.
I'm really, really excited to. Yeah, I think it's going to be great.
You did a great job. I love it.
Thank you.